Hello all, welcome to part 28 of TestNG training series. In this session, I'm going to explain and practically demonstrate about TestNG parameterization, which is possible with the help of data provider annotation and data provider attribute. Okay, by using this data provider annotation and data provider attribute, this data driven testing automation is possible, which is otherwise called as or known as TestNG parameterization in TestNG. Okay, so we are going to automate the data driven testing with the help of TestNG parameterization, which is possible with the help of data provider annotation and data provider attribute. So everything will be clear for you when I practically demonstrate this thing for you. So let's get started. So TestNG parameterization with the help of data provider annotation and data provider attribute, and which is in turn will automate the data driven testing. Okay, before you understand what exactly is this TestNG parameterization and how to use this data provider and data provider annotation and attributes, we have to understand what is this data driven testing first. Okay, we have to start with the data driven testing, guys. So I'll take an example of a school website and I'll tell you what exactly is the data driven testing, not in automation way. Okay, we'll start with the manual way first. Okay, so guys, let's say there is a school website. There is school website. I'll just write down school here. The school website has a login functionality. Login functionality is there. So different users need to be able to log into the school website, right? So admin team, there will be not one admin person. There will be multiple admin people, right? The admin team need to be able to log into the school website and they should be able to access this output. Whether they are able to log into this application or not is the output. Okay. Similarly, not only the admin team, now different teachers, okay, different teachers who are teaching different subjects across different classes in the school need to be able to log into the website, school website, and should be able to log in. Okay, the output should be they should be able to log in. This is another thing. Okay, this is another thing. Now there will not be only admin team, there will not be only teachers, but school website also has students. For each and every student across all the sections and classes in the school need to be able to log into the school website and they should be able to log in. That is output is they should be able to successfully log in. Okay. This is a login functionality I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the entire school website. I'm only login functionality I'm talking. Not only that, guys. Now the parents of these students also should have a account, right, with the school website, and they also need to be able to log into the school website and login should be successful for them. Like this, if you see in a single school itself, okay, in a single school itself, there will be lot of accounts, right? Lot of accounts. For each and every admin person, there will be an account. For each and every teacher, there will be an account having some username and password to log into the website. For each and every student, there will be an account that is username and password credentials for login to the website. For each and every parent of the students also has credentials. Okay, like that, there will be thousands of credentials, guys. Okay, for example, these are admin. I told you, right? This is admin. These are assume that here only three is represented, but in real time there will be a lot of admin people. In real time there will be a lot of teachers. There will be a lot of students, and there will be a lot of okay parents. So admin team, teachers, students, and parents. So admin team, teachers, students, parents using their credentials, they will log into the school website and they should be able to log in. Okay, output should be they should be able to log in. Here login functionality is only one, but the credentials, these credentials are nothing but the admin team credentials, that is username and password that admin team uses for login to the school website, the username and password the teachers will use for login to the website, the username and passwords that students will use for login to the website, the username and password that parents will use for logging into the website is called as data, right? Here, how much amount of data is there? If the school is very big, there will be thousands of credentials. there will be thousands of credentials, guys, using which the users will be able to log into the school website. Okay. So if this kind of situation is called as data driven, if you're testing, for example, if you're manually testing each and every credential of each and every admin person here and checking whether each and every person from the admin team is able to log into the school website or not, if you're manually checking each and every teacher who is associated with the school is able to log into the website or not, each and every student who is studying at the school is able to log in or not manually, if you are checking. Okay, parents of the students are able to log in or not, if you are manually checking each and every credentials is working or not. This is called as data driven testing, guys. Okay, if you are a software tester and you are asked to check whether all the admin team, all the teachers, all the students and all the parents are able to log into the website, we call this kind of testing. Functionality is only one, guys, but data is more. So here data is driving the testing, and this testing is called as data driven testing. Since data is driving this testing, since more data is there and it's taking more time for testers to test this, because how much amount of data, that many times the tester has to log in, log out, okay, and check whether these credentials are able to, all these credentials are able to log in or not of this admin, teachers, students and parents. That is called as data driven testing, guys. And in order to automate this data driven testing, TestNG will help us, guys. Okay, there is an option with the TestNG. Suppose I am automating this data driven testing using Selenium. Selenium by itself cannot help us in data driven testing, in automating the data driven testing. Selenium will take the help of the TestNG library. Selenium library by default doesn't have the capabilities of the data driven testing. Selenium library will take the help of the TestNG library to perform this data driven testing. To automate the data driven testing, Selenium and TestNG both are required. TestNG, there is a concept in TestNG known as TestNG parameterization. Okay, with the help of this TestNG parameterization, okay, Selenium or any other tool like APM, or it can be uh, rest assured for API automation, any of these automation tools, if they have to automate the data driven testing, they have to take the help of this TestNG. Sorry, I wrote parameters, it's not parameters, this is TestNG parameterization. Okay, so either it can be Selenium or it can be rest assured for API automation, Selenium for UI automation, or it can be APM for mobile automation. Any of these tools have to use something, have to take the help of TestNG parameterization to automate this data driven testing. Okay, fine. So now you understood what is data driven testing with the school website, and now how TestNG will help Selenium or APM or rest assured to perform this data driven testing or to automate this data driven testing with help of TestNG parameterization. TestNG will do that. So TestNG parameterization comes with one annotation known as data provider annotation, another one known as data provider attribute. Using these two, we can achieve the automation of this data driven testing. Okay, in TestNG. So fine, I'll take a example. Okay, so I'll launch Eclipse ID here, guys. I'll launch Eclipse ID. Let me launch Eclipse ID. And so first I'll take a example, guys. What example I want to take is, I cannot take the school website example here, but for automation, but I'll take this example of this tutorialsninja.com/demo. Okay, let me launch it meanwhile. So I want to go to the login page, and here I want to check whether this login functionality is working for different credentials. Okay, at least 3 credentials I'll check. If you are able to check for 3 credentials, you can check for thousands credentials. Okay, so here only one automation test will be there. Okay, only one automation test will be there, but data will be more. You see, I will be able to log in with amotoricap9 at the rate gmail.com. This is one credential. I'm able to log in or not. After checking whether this option is coming, I will confirm that login is successful. I'll log out, and then I'll log in again with a different credential this time. amotoricap1 1 2 3 4 5 and log in, and see whether other credential is also able to log in. So do you have to write the test automation script for login functionality multiple times for each and every credentials? Do you have to write a separate test method? That is not a good approach, guys. Okay, what we are going to do here is, in test automation or using Selenium or whatever APM or rest assured, what we are going to do is, we are going to write a single test automation script for login, and we'll parameterize that. Okay, we'll parameterize that to receive the data from external source. We'll parameterize the test method to receive the data from the external source, and that external source is going to pass the multiple sets of data like A motor recap 9, A motor recap 1, A motor recap 7, or whatever it is. Okay, it will supply the data. How many sets of data? Maybe this is not working, guys. So 3 I'll take. Let's see. Yeah, 3 is working. 1, 3, and 9 are working. So we'll take those as examples. Okay, I'll show you guys. I don't have to write 3 automation scripts. The 3 test annotated test automation test methods I don't have to write. Instead, I will be writing only one, but we'll parameterize that test method. Okay, to accept the parameters, to write the parameters in the methods for that test method, and that parameters will receive the data from the a supplier method. Okay, the supplier method can supply any amount of data, guys. Okay, you have 1000 credentials, that supplier method will supply the data. This is what we are going to achieve, guys. Okay, since I already have, okay, let me close this. So let me close all this stuff, and let's start fresh here. uh, Under src test java test package, I'll delete all these files, guys. Okay, they are related to the other previous session, so let me delete that. Whatever necessary only I'll keep, whatever not necessary, test.ng xml file also I'll delete for now. Okay, now we don't have anything. Now freshly under test package, I'll create a new class known as DD, data driven testing demo. Okay, DDD demo. Click on finish. Some demo class I created. Inside this, what I will do is I'll create a method, guys. Okay, public void verify login. Like this, I'll create a test method. Okay, verify login at the rate test. Put the mouse on at the rate test and import this from test.ng annotation. Fine, that's good. Now let's write the code for Selenium code. I'll take a realistic code here. WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup. As you already know, these libraries are already there for a WebDriver manager and all. Okay, from the previous sessions, you can refer if you are not aware of WebDriver manager or whatever it is related to Selenium. WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. This will open the Chrome browser in Selenium. I'll import this WebDriver from Selenium library, and I'll import this Chrome driver from Selenium library, and then I'll say driver dot manage dot window dot maximize. Then I'll say driver dot get. I'll give the application URL that I was talking about till demo only. I'll copy this URL, guys, and I'll write the automation script casually. Now I'll click on the my account link, inspect this my account, and in the HTML code, I have to create an XPath. The span tag is there, text between the tags is my account. So I'll say Control F /span text is equal to my account. Okay, if I give like this, it will locate the one of one is coming here. It is locating the my account option. Copy this XPath, come back here and say driver dot find element by dot XPath. Provide the XPath of that my account and say dot click. Okay, I'm just creating an example scenario here, guys. Example test here, for which data driven testing automation is required later by doing the test-ng parameterization with the help of test-ng parameterization by using the data provider annotation and data provider attribute. We are going to achieve that soon. But first, we'll write a sample script, and we'll parameterize this method and then supply the data to this method. Okay, that is upcoming. Okay, once you click on the my account, you have to click on the login. Inspect this login, guys. Okay, here anchor tags are there. Text between the anchor tags we can use as a link text. Driver dot find element by dot link text. Provide the link text and say dot click. That's it. I clicked on that login option. Once I click on that, I'll get this email address and password. I'll inspect this email address. Here ID is there. Copy this ID, guys, and simply say driver dot find element by dot ID. By dot ID. Provide the ID of that email address field and say dot send keys. So here I'll hard code the data for now, guys. Okay. In the first, before going to the test-ng parameterization and the data-driven testing automation, right? I am writing a sample script which generally looks which works only with one credentials. Okay, which is not parameterized, which only works with one credentials. I'll give only one credential here, emotory cap 9. Okay, So send keys, and then next one, minimize this so that you can see this complete screen. Inspect this password field, guys, and here also we have an ID. Copy this ID and simply say driver.find element by.id. Provide the ID of this okay thing and say dot send keys. Provide the valid password, valid credentials I am going to give, that is email and password. After that, I have to click on the, after giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, I have to click on the login button. Inspect this login button, guys. Here value attribute login is there. So input tag is there. So I'll create an XPath here. Control F input at the rate value attribute is equal to login. Okay. Enter. So one of one, it's locating the login button here on the UI, as you can see. Copy this and write down driver dot find element by dot XPath. Provide the XPath, guys, of that login button and say dot click. Say dot click. Okay. Once you click on this login button, guys, once you click on the login button, you have to verify whether this option is coming or not. Okay. So that how can we be sure that we got successfully logged in? We have to get this option. Inspect this. If any of this option, guys, edit your account information or change your password or modify your address book or modify your, if you get this kind of options, these options are only available for the users who got logged in. These options are not available for non-logged in users. I will verify only one of the option, guys. Any of the options you can pick here from here, but I will take this edit your account. It is a link text. So here I will simply write the code, right? Just for verifying assert dot assert true, assert dot assert true, driver dot find element by dot link text of that edit your account information dot is displayed. Okay, is displayed. Okay, and then finally at the end I'll put a semicolon. This will verify whether the user has been logged in or not. And finally driver dot quit, guys. Okay, driver dot quit. I'll quit the browser. Okay, done. So this is the thing, guys. Verify login. Only one sample script. This is not a data-driven test. Only one credential we have used. Here data is not driving this particular test. Okay. Only for one set of credentials, I have created this test method, and I am just checking whether this is going to work or not. Let's click on the run button, guys, and see whether the script will pass or fail. Okay. It will open the Chrome browser, maximize the browser, and open the application URL in the browser. Then it will click on the my account. Click on the login to take us to the login page. If it's taking too much time, guys, just press enter. It's a demo application, guys. You should not be doing that. Okay, it's okay. It entered and it's verified. It passed, guys. Okay, so pass one. So the script has worked, and you see verify login has worked for this particular hard coded credential. Here credentials are hard coded, guys. Okay, no one is applying these credentials. But what if I have multiple credentials? We have to write this test method multiple times. For example, for let's say verify login 1. Okay, I'll copy this and create one more test method for another credentials. Verify login 2. And here I'll give one more credential, that is cap 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then another test. If I have three credentials, I have to rewrite the same method. Same method I have to reuse how many times? 3 times. For 3 credentials, I have to write 3 times. Same test method, I have to repeat how many times? 3 times for 3 credentials. If you have 1000 credentials, then 1000 times, right? 1000 times I have to write the same test method. Is it a good idea? This will run. This process or approach will work. If few number of credentials are there for each and every credentials, if you are writing the test method, that's okay. But you have 1000 credentials. Can you write 1000 test methods here inside this DDT demo class? Is that a good approach? No. Right? If you have 1000 credentials, if data is driving the single test, single automation script, okay, where you're hard coding the data also at the same time, is that a good idea? No. Okay. What's the problem? Chrome driver was started successfully, but nothing is happening. Let me stop this and run it again, guys. Sometimes it may be a temporary glitch. Okay, so anything is missing. Let me cross check. I think everything is fine. Login 3, login 1, verify login 2. I think it should work. Let's run it again. Open the Chrome browser, maximize the browser, open the application URL. It's taking time, just press enter, guys. Just press enter if it is taking time, that's okay. Mode to recap 9. Second test is running for second credential. Okay, it's working fine. Okay, one of the tests is failing. 3 is working. I think I have to choose one more thing. I think I don't know whether one is working or not. Yeah, one is working actually. Fine. Okay. So that's fine. So like this, guys, we have to create a test method for each and every test. Okay, here I'll give one here, guys. So there are 3 credentials. For 3 credentials, 3 test methods. For 1000 credentials, 1000 test methods. That's not a good idea, guys. Rather, what I will do is I'll remove all these tests, all these extra tests. I'll keep only one test, only one test method, and I will parameterize this. How? String parameterization means what? Creating the parameters for this test method. I have to receive this username and password data from an external source. So for that, I'll say string email, string password. Okay. I'll write like this. Now, here in place of the email address, you don't have to hard code this, and you can directly pass this. Whatever the data that is coming to this email, you're passing here. Whatever the data that is coming to password, okay, you are passing here. But who will pass the data to this email and password parameters of this verify login method, verify login method? Only one method is required here because I parameterized. Okay, here parameter whatever the data that is being received to this parameters, right, that will be passed in this statements, and the script has to work. So who will pass the data to this particular test method? For that, guys, we have to create one more method here, public void. Okay, you can give any name for this method. I'll say data supplier. Okay, or get data. Any name you can give. I'm just okay with the data supplier. And here, which annotation you have to provide? You should not be providing at the rate test annotation. At the rate test annotation is only for the test methods. But here, I'm going to provide some annotation known as at the rate data provider annotation from TestNG. I'm officially making this data supplier method a method in TestNG, which is going to supply the data to the test methods. But is the connection established between this method and this method? No. You simply market this method as a data provider, which is going to supply the data to the test method. But to which test method you are going to supply the data? This data provider method is going to supply the data to which particular test method? That we are not sure. So how to make the connection? Here, guys, beside the test at the rate test annotation, use an attribute. Here data provider is an annotation. Here I am using attribute. Data provider attribute. Data provider is equal to in double quotes, give the name of the method, which is marked with at the rate data provider, right? Give that name of the method. Now the connection is established. Now we know that this, okay, now we know that this data supplier method is going to, okay, supply the data to this test method, because you see you marked it as data provider, and here who is going to provide the data to this particular test method? A data provider method which is having data supplier as a name. Name of the method is data supplier. That particular method is going to supply the data. Okay, like this we have to make a connection. Then how to supply the data? How to write the code here to supply the data? Very simple, guys. You have to create something known as a two-dimensional object array. Okay, you have to create something known as two-dimensional object array. What is this object? Object is the parent class of all the classes in Java, guys. Okay, so you can also create two-dimensional string array also. Two-dimensional string array also you can create, no problem. Okay, but when we have to go for object array, I'll tell you. Okay, for now, let's why to confuse? Let's use a string array. Everyone knows about string, right? Two-dimensional string array I'll use, and I'll say data is equal to here arrays concept in Java, guys. Arrays concept in Java. I'll provide. So it is a two-dimensional array, right? It is a two-dimensional array. So how do we represent a two-dimensional array shortcut representation? Inside the curly braces, again we have to provide multiple curly braces. How many sets of data you want to pass? That many curly braces you have to provide. That means each and every inner curly brace is a single dimensional array. It's an two-dimensional array is an array of single dimensional arrays. Okay. Here in the single dimensional arrays, you have to provide two double quotes. One is for user email and other one is for password. Okay, email and other one double quote is for password. One is for email and other one is for password, like this. Okay, here I'll pass the email address, guys. What is the email address? I'll go here and then get the email addresses which are working fine. As we already have seen, this 9 is working, so I'll give the 9 here, emote recap 9, and password will be 12345. If you are going to the next, you can also get it to the new line. That's not a big deal. And 3 is working, guys. 3 is working. So copy this and paste it here and say 12345. And this one also I'll move to the new line. And here emote recap 1 is also working. So I'll give 1 here. How many sets of data are there? 3 sets of data are there. Okay, 3 sets of data are there. This array is a set 1. This array is a set 2. This array is a set 3. Now what is the thing? Thing is, you have to simply say return data. That's it. Okay, you don't have to create an object array because both the username and password are provided in the form of strings, right? So that's okay, guys. Okay, they are passed in the form of the string. That's okay. Okay, so why we have to put object array, I'll tell you later. Okay, why we have to put object array here, I'll tell you later. For now, for this example, string array, string two-dimensional array is enough. So here, what is the return type of this data? The return type of the data is nothing but string two-dimensional array. Instead of providing void here, we have to provide string two-dimensional array. That's it, guys. You don't have to do anything. So what happens now is when you are returning this data, which is a two-dimensional string here, okay, the first value, okay, first set of credentials will be passed. So when you run this test, guys, when you run this test, what will happen? The control will start from the test, and beside the test annotation, data provider is called data supplier is there. It will immediately connect to the data supplier method and take the first set of data. This first set of data will be taken into consideration. That is amotorycap9@gmail.com and 12345 will be taken. Okay, and in that, the first element of this array will be passed to this email, and second element of the array will be passed to this password. Okay, first element will be passed to the email, second element will be of the array will be passed to the password. And once this test method runs with the first set of data, and after that is completed, now again this test method will collect the data from the next set of data will be taken into consideration. This email will go into this email, and second set of password will go into the password, and test will run for the second time. The test method will run for the second time. Now after the second test is completed, second run is completed, then third set of data will be taken into consideration, where email will go into this email and password will go into this password. Okay, and that's how the data provider method will work with the @test annotation test method. Okay, when you parameterize it like this. Fine, guys. So let's see whether this test method will run 3 times with every time with 3 credentials of data or not with this approach. Let's see that. Okay, run this, run all, or you can run this test method also. There is only one method. 3 times the test method should run with multiple sets of data being provided by the data provider method. Here we have used data provider annotation and data provider attribute also at the same time. Okay, to connect the data provider with the data supplier with the test method. Okay, second test, it's taking time, just hit enter, guys. Second test is running. The demo application you can hit enter, but in real time don't hit enter. Okay, you see 3 tests got run. Only one test method is there, but it got run 3 times. You can see the test engine results for more clarity, guys. As you can see, verify login functionality has been run. Same test method, that is verify login, has run how many times? 1, 2, 3 times. First time it has run with first set of data, amotorycap9@gmail.com 12345, which is supplied from the data supplier method in this example. Second time, same test method has run with another set of data, amotorycap3@gmail.com 12345. And third time the same test method got run with the third set of data, that is amotorycap1@gmail.com 12345. So here we have automated the data driven testing with the help of TestNG parameterization. We have parameterized the TestNG test method. Okay, and we have used some annotation known as data provider annotation for the method before the method, which is going to supply the multiple sets of data. How many sets of data you are supplying from this method, that many times this test method is going to run. And at same time, here we have used data provider attribute to connect this test method to collect the data from this data provider method. Okay, how can the TestNG know that which test method this particular data supplier method should supply the data? We have to provide a connection here. We have to provide a connection here using the data provider annotation by giving the name of the supplier method, which is going to supply the data to this test method. How many sets of data is there? That many times the test method will run. So hope you are able to understand how to automate the data driven testing with the help of TestNG parameterization and with the help of this data provider annotation and data provider attributes. Okay, fine. Anything is left? Let's see. Data provider object array. I'll tell you later, guys. I'll cover this later. Why we have to use object array. There are a lot of topics left out. I'll just cover that later. Here I'll cover. Okay, the time will come when I explain about the here. For now, we have used string array, guys. In place of string, we have to use object class. All those details I'll cover as part of the other session, guys. Coming sessions. Okay. So why we have to use object array or the string array, I'll tell you later. Okay. For now, it will work for fine with the string array because all the credentials I'm passing to the test method are nothing but string type. Okay. So I explained about the data provider annotation at the data provider annotation of TestNG. I explained about data provider attribute, okay, which we have to write beside the test annotation of the test method to connect the data provider supplier method with the data provider test method. Okay, so passing data to the test method. So with this, both data was passed to the test method. How many sets of data are there in the data supplier method? That many times the test method got executed. We have seen that. Have done the practical demonstration. For this session, this is much, guys. Okay, this is enough. But there are a lot of topics related to this TestNG parameterization or this data provider thing. Okay, so what are the pending topics we have? We can separate the data provider method, guys. That is one topic, and a lot of other topics also here I mentioned. Okay, reading data from Excel files into the data provider method, we can achieve that. Multiple ways of returning data from data provider method, partially passing the data from the data provider method using indices attribute, separating the data provider method into separate classes. Okay, this is already there here, separating the data provider method. Okay, the same thing, I think it got repeated, separate class, and many more are there, guys. Okay, I just have to remove this actually, separating the data provider into separate class. Okay, so fine, these are the pending topics, guys, which I'm not going to cover in this session, but don't think that the topic is completed. This topic has just started, guys. Okay, and the main important concept has been explained for you. Okay, so more I am going to cover here. Okay, more I am going to cover here. Different ways, different things are there that we can work on with this data provider and data driven testing automation, that is TestNG parameterization. For now, this much is enough for this session. So guys, that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to cover another TestNG topic, as I already explained in this session, what topics I'm going to cover next. So that's all for this session. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.